History runs deep throughout the Mississippi Delta. For the small community of Holcomb, Mississippi, their stories and experiences are strokes in this larger painting of history. Holcomb, Mississippi was established in 1901, a period of time when racism and hatred crippled the inevitable change to come. A period of time when 100 blacks were lynched and the first black man, Booker T. Washington, was having dinner with President Roosevelt in the White House. During this time, the Grenada Municipal Separated School District operated with segregated schools for blacks and whites. The white schools being Grenada County Elementary School, Grenada High School, Grenada Elementary School, and Holcomb Elementary School. The black schools included Ty Plant School, Carrie Dotson High School, Willie Wilson Elementary, and Rebecca Reed School.
The Grenada School District, like other districts throughout the South, lived under the impression that blacks and whites were separate but equal until 1954, when Brown v. Board of Education ruled that racial segregation of schools violated the 14th Amendment. A system that operated under discriminatory jurisdiction was now being forced to open its doors to the black community. Even with the Supreme Court ruling in effect, there was no deadline for schools to open their doors to blacks. Rebecca Reed School, built in 1958, was one of 4 schools in the district for blacks only. The principal of Rebecca Reed was Willie T. Allen, who was also the assistant of former Governor William Winter, both who were natives of Grenada, Mississippi.
You had old potbelly heaters up the toe. And the country, the trustees of the school brought the wood.
Right.
In town, we had a coal house.
Right.
And so the only thing we got that wasn't used was coal. And they hadn't figured out how to not burn anything and give it to you.
In Grenada County, Mississippi, the black community grew restless, waiting for change to come around. In 1966, the black community of Grenada County filed a lawsuit against the Grenada Municipal Separate School District, stating that all curricular activities and programs are conducted on a racially segregated basis and are highly inferior to that of white children.
After the ruling of Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, it took Mississippi an additional 16 years to finally desegregate its schools in 1970. Holcomb Elementary and all white schools were to be integrated after the ruling against Grenada Municipal Separated School District. Shortly after the ruling, much of the black community still met resistance when attempting to enroll in school. In September 1966, schools in Grenada delayed the beginning of school for 10 days in order to keep more than 400 black students from entering the schools. During this time, whites were able to convince black parents to send their children back to colored school. Those who attended white schools were met the very first day with harassment and violence.
Down the street in front of the schoolhouse, they come and start doing.
The white people came?
Yeah. Came to have clubs and things and knocked her windshields out and hit my little cousin in the head and hurt my other cousin and hit it on the arm.
And he came back and so he called some of the children name. He didn't call ours. He just told us that he didn't have no application for us and told us to go on back. Just told us just to get up and go.
He told you to go home?
Go home. He didn't say sit there. He just said get up and go home. He said because I don't have any application. So.
Were you happy to see so many Negro children go to school today?
Oh, yes.
What did they tell you? We're going to keep going to school?
Yeah, they said they were going to keep going to school.
No matter what happens?
No matter what happens.
Don and Arleen Roby, spouses of 38 years, are former students of Rebecca Reed and Holcomb Elementary School. Having attended the schools during the periods before and after integration, they are able to recall their experiences and the challenges faced during this critical time in history.
Behind me is my history right here. When I first started off in 1965, I went to first grade here. Now, the name of the school, Rebecca Reed Elementary School, that's the name of the school. So before we got integrated, it's all black kids at that time when I was going here. We found like family. We saw like best friends. Each family know everybody.
It was a wonderful school to be at Students-Urijah because, you know, you start from the first grade and And that's, experience was wonderful and had wonderful teacher. And they, they were pretty hard on you. So, but they made you learn.
I don't have an exact date when they tore the school down. I do not know nobody. They don't have no record at this time. When we got integrated, things it just went a little bit of change there because we had to be a doctor. The white kids then, so we didn't know how to really interact with them. We had to learn something new because we had to learn the white folk history then. So the black folk history sort of faded away.
Violence and public disrespect were among the many trials young black students would endure to receive a quality education. Whites, however, were willing to do just about anything to deter blacks from integrating their schools.
We got off the bus. We just walked in like a group. It was sort of scary because we were just like we were afraid to go in. We just kept going forward, facing them. And one sort of said a little, Rachel Mark say, we don't lie no niggers in here. And we kept going because that's what Martin Luther King was warning. There's another boy, he hung one of our friends on the tree. It was just a limb, he put a rope. Had a rope with a loop. It's a loop in. So he would kind of pull, his other friend would kind of pull down on the rope, kind of put him up, kind of hang him. He kept saying, I'm ready to die. They knocked his teeth out. They knocked two of his front teeth out. They beat him up pretty bad for my brother and his friend helped him.
The sacrifices made by these students in Grenada County opened doors and paved the way for students to come years after.
I went to Karen Doxson School in 1976 in Grenada, Mississippi. The atmosphere we had then was interacting with the white kids. Well, we had more black teachers and we had a couple white teachers. But it was back then, it was trying to, like with the principal, it's more disciplinary on the black kids. We still have on the bus, we had to ride back on the bus back toward Holcomb. It was more black on the bus. It was like when the learning was like, when you go to the white teacher, they really didn't want us to learn how to read and how to write. And my sister, they taught me how to read and how to do my number, the ABCs and stuff. I most got taught at home. So I more had the advance. When I went to school, they called it the back slack and we called it the good slack of the living, in a pleasant way.
Today, the Grenada County School District is ranked in the top 20% of all school districts in the state of Mississippi. The district has a diverse population of students, with blacks making up about 52% of the district's population. The school district is thriving, with a graduation rate of over 85%. The Grenada School District Board of Trustees has 2 members who are black, Marjorie Hughes and Arleen Conley. In 2022, it is clear to see the change in diversity that has occurred within the county. However, much of that recognition goes to the young men and women of Grenada County that dedicated their lives to the desegregation of the schools and the advancement of their education.